360, and I'm Sandeep. Dozens of Hezbollah rockets were launched towards northern Israel on October 24th as the conflict widens. Explosions, air raid sirens were heard over the town of Naharia when a barrage of dozens of rockets were fired at the area. Furthermore, a projectile hit a road near the village of Kilil, wounding 3 people in that area, the Israeli army confirmed. According to the Israeli army, some 50 rockets were identified crossing from Lebanon towards Upper and Western Galilee. However, Israeli air defense systems, including the Iron Dome, took charge and intercepted Hezbollah missiles. Plumes of smoke from the interception of at least 24 rockets were captured in footage shot from the town of Safed. Amid Israel Hezbollah war, the planes took off as smoke rose over Beirut that delayed. Latest visuals showed an explosion among the buildings in the southern suburbs of Beirut on October 24th. Israel has used airstrikes to pound southern Lebanon, Beirut's southern suburbs and Bekaa Valley, and sent ground forces into the areas near the border. Lebanese authorities say that the campaign has killed more than 2,500 people and displaced more than 1 million people, spawning a humanitarian crisis.
الوصول إلى هذه الغاية حاليا الضاحية بعد سلسلة من الاعتداءات الصهيونية غطت معظم أرجاء الضاحية الجنوبية ابتداء من الساعة 10:30 من مساء الأمس حين استهدفت منطقة العنقوسية بشويفات بغارة عنيفة، ومن بعدها شن سلسلة غارات استمرت حتى 2 فجرا مستهدفا الأحياء السكنية والمحال التجارية من حارة حريك إلى صفير، وسحب دخان أيضا متبعة بعدسة الزميل حسان. محمد الوصول إلى هذه مشوفة بغارة عنيفة، ومن بعدها شن سلسلة غارات استمرت حتى الثانية فجرا، مستهدفا الأحياء السكنية والمحال التجارية من حارة حريك إلى صفير، وسحب دخان أيضا متبعة بعدسة الزميل حسان. صعب الوصول إلى هذه الغاية حاليا. محمد الضاحية بعد سلسلة من الاعتداءات الصهيونية غطت معظم أرجاء الضاحية الجنوبية ابتداء من الساعة 10 والنصف من مساء الأمس، حين استهدف منطقة العنبسية بشويفة بغارة عنيفة، ومن بعدها شن سلسلة غارات استمرت حتى الثانية فجرا، مستهدفا الأحياء السكنية والمحال التجارية من حارة حريك إلى صفير، وسحب دخان أيضا متبعة بعدسة الزميل حسان. صعب الوصول إلى هذه الغاية حاليا. محمد الضاحية بعد سلسلة من الاعتداءات الصهيونية غطت معظم أرجاء الضاحية الجنوبية ابتداء من الساعة 10 والنصف من مساء الأمس، حين استهدف منطقة العنبسية بشويفة بغارة عنيفة، ومن بعدها شن سلسلة غارات استمرت حتى الثانية فجرا، مستهدفا الأحياء السكنية والمحال التجارية من حارة حريك إلى صفير، وسحب دخان أيضا متبعة بعدسة الزميل حسان.
Several strikes hit the southern suburbs of Beirut early on October 25 as large explosions among the building and thick smoke were seen rising in the sky. Israel unleashed its Lebanon offensive with this declared aim of securing the return of tens of thousands of people evacuated from homes in northern Israel during a year of cross-border hostilities with HEZBOLLAH.
لا تحذير ضربوا
Israel's military said it has dismantled the terrain of Hezbollah's elite Radwan forces in southern Lebanon. The underground tunnel was found inside a civilian house which served as a weapon storage facility in a village in southern Lebanon. Video released by the Israeli army claimed to show the inside of the tunnel with stored weapons as well as aerial views of strikes. The international media was not able to independently verify the location and date when the videos were filmed. Israel launched its Lebanon offensive with the declared aim of securing the return of tens of thousands of Israelis evacuated from northern Israel over the last month. Israel was heavily bombarded southern Lebanon, Beirut's southern suburbs, and the Bekaa Valley. The Lebanon's government reports said that more than 2,500 people have been killed and over 1 million displaced. In the recent interview, Russian President Vladimir Putin addressed allegations of Russian interference in the upcoming U.S. elections and his purported connections with the former President Donald Trump. He dismissed the accusations as nonsense, citing a U.S. investigation that found no evidence of collusion. Putin emphasized that any future of Russia-U.S. relations hinges on whether the next U.S. administration is willing to pursue normal diplomatic ties, leaving the decision up to the United States.
News. Mr. President, satellite images are said to show North Korean troops here in Russia. What are they doing here? And wouldn't that be a massive escalation in the Ukraine war? And Mr. President, we are weeks away from the US election. Russia again is accused of interfering, and that you have had private conversations with former President Trump. Have you been speaking with him, and what have you been saying?
Well, let me take up first the first part of your question. Satellite images, well, that is something serious. If there are images, then they are a reflection of something. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that it's not the Russia's actions that have led to an escalation in Ukraine. Rather, it is the coup d'etat in 2014, which was supported first and foremost by the US. The US has even publicly announced how much money it has spent back then to organize and orchestrate this coup d'etat. Wasn't that the path to escalation? And then for 8 years, we were being duped when we were being told that everyone wants to achieve a peaceful settlement to the conflict in Ukraine via Minsk agreements. You have probably heard afterwards a number of European leaders have said publicly that they had been duping us because they had been using that time to rearm the Ukrainian troops. Isn't that a fact? It is. Another path towards escalation consisted in the fact that the European countries started to actively provide weaponry to Ukraine, to the Ukrainian regime, and it went as far as direct participation of NATO troops in this conflict, because we are aware of how and what is being done when UAV unmanned vessels in the Black Sea are being operated and sent. We know who is present there, what NATO countries are involved, and how they are doing that. And the same goes for instructors, and these are not mercenaries, these are military instructors. And the same goes for the use of precision-guided missiles such as Storm Shadow, ATACMS, and other things like that. Ukrainian troops are incapable of doing that without Western intelligence, without sharing the goals, and it is only possible through the direct involvement of NATO officers. Now, as for our interaction relationship with the North Korea.
Mr. President, Keir Simmons from NBC News. Mr. President, satellite images.
Israel continues to attack Iran's proxies in Gaza and Lebanon after eliminating several top commanders of the militant grouping. As Israel continues to attack, it has gained world attention, assuming that the regional conflict could spiral up and turn into a full-blown war. The latest threat regarding the full-blown war was flagged by Russian President Vladimir Putin during his address at the BRICS meeting on October 24th. President Putin said that the war in the Middle East has put the entire region on the brink of full-scale war. Putin also said that violence in the Middle East will not end until the creation of an independent Palestinian state. President Putin's endorsement for the creation of independent Palestinian state came while Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is visiting Russia. In its recent attack, Israeli strike in northern Gaza killed 42 people as the ceasefire in the region seems far away. Israel's operation has intensified since the killing of Hamas chief Yahya al-Sinwar a week ago. During his visit to Israel, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also pushed for the ceasefire, calling for truce after killing of Sinwar.
millimeter wrong and he can hit us. There's another fire.
Я попрошу представителей прессы тоже успокоить. Иллюзорный расчет. Очередной виток палестино-израильского противостояния стал, пожалуй, одним из самых кровопролитных в длинной череде столкновений. В результате боев в секторе Газа уже погибло более 40 тысяч человек, большинство из которых мирные жители. Но при этом, и я хочу это подчеркнуть, мы всегда выступали и выступаем против любых террористических проявлений. Начавшиеся год назад в Газе боевые действия сейчас распространились и на Ливан. Оказались затронутыми и другие страны региона. Резко вырос градус конфронтации между Израилем и Ираном. Все это напоминает цепную реакцию и ставит весь Ближний Восток на грань полномасштабной войны. Стремительно деградирует и гуманитарная ситуация. Число беженцев и внутренне перемещенных лиц превысило уже 1,5 миллиона человек. Само урегулирование должно быть достигнуто на общепризнанных международно-правовых базах, что впрямую предусматривает создание независимого палестинского государства, мирно сосуществующего с Израилем. Исправление исторической несправедливости по отношению к палестинскому народу может дать гарантию мира на Ближнем Востоке. До тех пор, пока этот вопрос не решен, порочный круг насилия разорвать не удастся.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, while addressing the 18th Asia Pacific Conference of German Business 2024, lauded India, saying that nation is one of the fastest growing major economy. He said that world of the 21st century is something where progress is a cushion and we have to work for. But in a multipolar world, there is no global policeman, no single watchdog monitoring or common rules and institutions. Each and every one of us is called upon to defend and uphold them. If Russia is to succeed in its illegal, brutal war against Ukraine, there would be repercussions far beyond Europe's borders. Such an outcome would endanger global security and prosperity as a whole. The Middle East remains another constant source of tension and a stark reminder of the human cost of division and the world's inability to reach political solutions. The Korean Peninsula, the South and the East China Sea will remain the flashpoints of the potential conflicts, even though we all hope that these conflicts can be contained. Let us do whatever we can bring our political solutions to these conflicts solutions that are based on international law and principles of the UN Charter, said German Chancellor.
In the world's biggest democracy, the fastest growing major economy in the world, with the most rapidly expanding renewable energy sector of any major economy. The Asia-Pacific Conference has come to the right place at the right time. Prime Minister Modi, thank you very much for your kind hospitality. In a multipolar world, there is no global policeman, no single watchdog monitoring our common rules and institutions. Today, we are meeting in the world's biggest democracy, the fastest growing major economy in the world, with the most rapidly expanding renewable energy sector of any major economy. A country at the heart of the world's most dynamic region, the Asia-Pacific. In a nutshell, the Asia-Pacific Conference has come to the right place at the right time. Prime Minister Modi, thank you very much for your kind hospitality, and thanks also to our co-hosts Robert Habeck and Roland Busch, and of course to you, Minister Goyal, for organizing this conference. I mentioned this year's Nobel laureates because the message couldn't be more topical. Not only do many democracies face pressure from within, from populists and extremists who peddle simplistic solutions to highly complex problems. What also worries me is an erosion of international institutions and the rules that we have created through them. As the three Nobel Prize laureates tell us, this is not just a political problem, but also an economic one. Because a world where reliable institutions and common rules erode is a more unstable world, a less prosperous world, a poorer world. The world of the 21st century is something where progress is a question we have to work for. But in a multipolar world, there is no global policeman, no single watchdog monitoring our common rules and institutions. Each and every one of us is called upon to defend and uphold them. If Russia was to succeed with its illegal, brutal war against Ukraine, there would be repercussions far beyond Europe's borders. Such an outcome would endanger global security and prosperity as a whole. The Middle East remains another constant source of tension and a stark reminder of the human cost of division and the world's inability to reach political solutions. The Korean Peninsula, the South and East China Sea all remain flashpoints of potential conflicts, even though we all hope that these conflicts can be contained. So my first message to all of you today.
Apart from German Chancellor, India has received yet another guest, the Vice President Executive of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez. Executive Vice President of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, met her counterpart, Vice President of India, Jagdeep Dhankar, in New Delhi on October 25th, where they both shared the commentaries of both the nations. And that's the end of the World 360. Stay tuned to CVR News English.